Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Rec Room with Brian Rector. And today we've got episode 49 coming to you, and we are off site. The last number of episodes we've done have been our guest sitting right with us, but unfortunately, we can't do that this time. However, if you wait a couple months, we may just get another one of these to recap what we talk about today. So, without further ado, Mia Rogan, track and field at Michigan State University, and somebody who has really been ultra impressive in the content creation game, found a way over the last couple years to balloon up to 100 and nearly 140 now, Mia, thousand followers on Instagram, and represented by Raymond Representation. Mia Rogan, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, of course, of course, of course. You know, you're somebody who has been on, well, actually, let me answer that. I'm good, by the way, and I'm better now that we're doing this. Uh, you're somebody who has been on my radar for a couple years. Maybe the last 18 months. And the reason is because when I was still at Michigan State, I would have meetings with Darian Harris. And
Yes.
so for me, like Darian was used as my North Star of like trying to read where this NIL thing is going. And one of the names that he continually brought up to kind of look at the platform was you. And so, like Mia, at the very beginning of this whole thing, I'm super curious because you said it off camera. You went from 1,000 to 140,000. I mean, how has that journey been? And when did it really begin for you? Of like, okay, now we're off and running. This could be real now.
Yeah, so I remember in high school, it was right after I committed to run here at Michigan State is when NIL got passed in college for college athletes to start doing. And I kind of knew about it. I didn't really know that much about it, but I knew once I got to college, I was like, shoot, I don't have time for a job and I would like some income. So I thought to myself, might as well dive into this world of NIL and see where it can take me. I had no clue what I was getting into or what it would overall turn into. I thought it would just be like a little side gig while I'm in college, make a few extra bucks here and there. Um, Little did I know it would turn into a whole business for me, and what it would explode to was literally insane.
Jeez. Like, I'd imagine when you begin a process like that, maybe, and maybe not, but correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like there would be some apprehension, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
concerns. Like, what were some of those when you were beginning, and how did you fight through that?
Yeah, so for me, I'm in non-revenue sport. I'm in track and field. So I don't necessarily get like the TV and media attention that like
Mm,
other sports get. So people like I'm just another athlete on campus or even another student for most people. Like I'm
mm,
not well known. I don't get TV time. People aren't saying my name all over like news articles for like what's happening. So for me, I really had to create a name for myself. What Darian told me when I came into his office for the first time was like, I want to get into NIL. What do I do? And he was like, you need to post on social media. And immediately I was like, oh gosh, that is terrifying. The last thing I want to do is be like posting day in the life videos to all of my followers who are just like people that went to high school with me. I feel like people are, they're going to say stuff, they're going to make fun of me. Like,
mm.
that seems so like cringy to just be posting that to people who only follow me because they knew me in high school or like they're my college teammates. Like, I didn't really have a platform. I said I had 1,000 followers. Like, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
1,000 people, but in reality, the majority of the people that followed me knew me from high school or when I was younger. So to me, that was like super intimidating and scary, especially knowing that it's like, the only way to get started is you just got to do it.
Mm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, now as you think about it, like you're represented by one of the largest representation agencies in the country. Like,
Yeah.
when did that come to fruition, and what has the role of Raymond Rep been in this business that you've started for yourself? Like how do they fit into the equation?
Yes. So I started talking to, well, I had a number of different agencies reach out to me after my freshman year ended, kind of like in between freshman and sophomore year. Um, and so I was talking to a number of different agencies. I honestly had no clue what I was getting into. Like they were throwing out these things like, contracts, this is how long, like this is commission, this is what we take on this. I had no clue what any of that meant. And I honestly didn't really have many people here at Michigan State, other athletes who have been in the representation space and have an agent.
I
I had
see.
nobody to talk to about that.
Mm.
So honestly, I really leaned on people like Darian and Sam to ask these questions of like, they know people who have agents. So I was like, is this a red flag? Like, what should I be looking for? And ultimately, I ended up landing on Raymond Rep. I just thought it felt very like comfortable, and they seemed, super just like outgoing, and that they believed in me a lot, and that I wouldn't just be like another number of a athlete that they were representing. Like it
Mm.
felt like they really cared about me as an athlete, and beyond that, like they saw potential in me. So that was super awesome. Emily Cole, she ran at Duke. I actually had the
Yeah.
chance to talk to her, and she was one of the first female NIL athletes that they signed. And so talking to her, I was like, okay, like if she's really hyping them up and saying this, and she's beyond college athletics now and is still with them, like I think this is a brand and, a company that I feel comfortable like saying yes to. And in all honesty, like I love Raymond Rep. They are so amazing. They have helped me so much. I feel like, once you build the following and the platform, then you start getting the brand deals. And for me, I had no clue how to navigate those. Like I was really underselling myself with how much, I was worth, how much I could charge for NIL deals. And Raymond Rep helped me see like you have a lot more worth than what you're selling yourself for. So not only have they helped me land bigger brand deals with companies like, Snapchat, T-Mobile, they've also helped me make way more of an income off of it and made NIL a lot more sustainable.
Mm.
And also just given me like access to resources I didn't have before, which is super awesome.
Mm. Yeah. And by the way, thank you for elaborating on that.
Yeah.
That was something that I was curious about, what their role was. So I appreciate that. Um, you know what's interesting is like people have this kind of prevailing attitude, right? That if you are in a non-revenue sport, then you're not going to make money. And there's no, and I think the reason it happens is because collective money doesn't get assigned or allocated to a certain larger number of sports. So on paper, it's like, well, university backing isn't, or not university, but like donor backing isn't necessarily there all the time. But it can be in some cases. Like, what do you feel about the place that we're at between the real NIL of doing like building the sustainable income that you described versus being paid out for your play and your performance by something like a collective?
Yeah, I think especially with the revenue sharing that just got passed this summer,
Mm-hmm.
it actually got passed while we were at AthleteCon. It was the last
Mm.
night is when that went through and everyone was talking about it. Um, Seeing how that plays in, it's like you will get so much money in college. Like I know college athletes who are bringing in $500,000 a year.
Mm.
That is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like also, I mean, I myself, I'm not making $500,000, but if I were, I would have no clue what to do with all that money as a college student.
I
For
see.
the most part, it's like your only expenses are really your rent and food, but some people get that covered. So you don't really have a ton of expenses and you're having all this income come in. And, you have all this money, and the second you graduate, it's gone like that. And you have no sustainable like income. You didn't really build your own personal brand off of it. So it's like, you're relying on all this. And the second you get out of college, you're like, holy crap, I don't have this much money coming in anymore. Versus that true NIL that I've kind of leaned in and focused on, it's sustainable post college. Like although I might not be making the $500,000 a year like some people are, post college, I still have that sustainable income coming in that I've, consistently been building upon. So knowing that that'll play out longer. So I feel like the longevity piece with that true NIL is so important to think about. Obviously, it'd be sweet to be making $500,000 right now, but
Hmm.
knowing that this is sustainable post college and that I'll still have that income coming in when I'm doing whatever I decide to do after athletics, I think that's really relieving almost to know that I don't need to have this whole plan for 4 years of how I'm going to invest and save all this money that I have coming in now.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What, Mia, I have a few more questions for you, like three more.
Okay.
What is the biggest impact that Sam Green has made on your trajectory of all of this?
Man, I mean, I remember the first time I met Sam. It was at our NIL celebration that Michigan State put on my first time my freshman year. And this was the fall, so like this is when I was thinking about like, man, how do I get into NIL? And Sam was there and she had her own little booth set up. She's doing something good molecules, I think. And she came up to me and she was like, Darian brought me over and introduced me to her and he was like, you need to talk to Sam. Like, you have to talk to her. She's so good. She knows all the stuff. Like, I'm going to get you connected. And I remember I walked up to Sam and she was like, you're going to just blow up. I know you are. Like, you just have to jump in and post. I don't know why you haven't been posting already. She set me up with this plan. She's like, you need to post this many days a week. Here's some people you can look at for content ideas, but like, you need to do this. And I remember after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. Like, this girl says that I can do it. She's dressed in all pink. She has this cute, like, completely blonde, like, bob. Like, I have to do this. And, like, seeing all the other athletes that she showed me, she's like, I've known them since they started and, like, they just locked it in and did it. And they've been able to be super successful. So just hearing that from her and having someone be like, you just got to do it, that was kind of my, like, okay, let's do it. And I mean, ever since then, it's really taken off. And I've been in contact with Sam literally like since then. She came back a few times for Michigan State to speak at some like NIL events that we had going on here. And then I've gone to AthleteCon, I mean, last year and then this upcoming year. And I mean, Sam's just literally been the best. I have nothing negative I can say about her.
You know what? I agree. I've been working for AthleteCon since December, and I've
Hmm.
been following the thing since about the event last year. And yeah, I concur. There's nothing there. I mean, what they do is just fantastic. Let's go here, and then we'll be almost ready to get out. What is AthleteCon in your words, and why are you excited to come back again?
Yeah, I'd say AthleteCon is just a way that athletes, content creators, or anyone who wants to get involved in the NIL space, whether that be your company, a brand, or an entrepreneur, anything, all those worlds come together to create this space that promotes just like, I don't know, I want to say like success, like whether that be you're trying to build your personal brand, you're trying to figure out how to get brand deals, your brand who wants to start getting involved in the space, I'd say AthleteCon is literally the place where all of those things mesh into one place. And that's really rare in the space. I feel like it's super hard to just like, I want to find a brand that wants to get involved in the NIL space, but I don't know how. Like, AthleteCon is the place. No matter where you're at in your journey of, content creation, athletics, NIL, or you're a brand, like AthleteCon is the place where you can grow, like no matter where you're at. Like they had people last year, like Livy Dunn was there. She was one of the most successful people in the NIL space, has continued being super successful post collegiate. And she was there able to give a lot of her knowledge that she learned from college athletics, NIL, and give it back to us athletes who are still trying to figure out the space. So it's like, even if you're in college, post college, any of that, like it's a space where you can thrive and be successful, but then also, pour out the knowledge that you learned back onto the younger generations. And the space is always evolving. So I feel like that's another really cool thing is like AthleteCon hits on all the points no matter where you're at.
Folks, this has been Mia Rogan on the Rec Room, episode 49. And before we go, I have a secret to let y'all in on.
Man. I
Come
actually
on
saw a
now.
little thing, so I'm really excited. I mean, I know her and her sister last year, Jules, they had an
Yeah.
amazing presentation, and I honestly, it was like one of the most engaging ones for me. All of them are amazing, but just hearing stuff from someone who's been through the space in a non-revenue sport and how successful she was able to be, and especially carry that past collegiate, I think is super awesome and honestly great to hear as someone who wants to continue this post college. So if you're someone in that spot, know that they'll be there and it's really awesome. Yeah, really
Uh,
cool.
Mia Rogan, thank you for your time. I really
Yes,
appreciate it. Go green.
go white.
There it is. And I'm excited actually to meet you in a couple months in June. So
Yes,
that'll be
it's so
super cool.
soon. I'm literally counting down the days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I appreciate it. And shoot, have a great Tuesday.
Thank you. You as well. Bye.